I'm Victor Levin, director and screenwriter of 5 to 7.
Sir?
I'm Berenice Marlohe.
I'm Anton Yelchin.
I was vacationing in France as a young man, late 80s, with my girlfriend at the time, and we stayed with friends of hers who were older and married and who had this kind of relationship, this kind of marriage, this kind of lifestyle. And it was holiday time, and the boyfriend was there, and the girlfriend was there, and the wife was there, and the husband was there, and I said, this is
Crazy.
insane. And she said, it's, you're not the only one who knows how to just, maybe you'll learn something, just behave yourself. So I tried to, and I'm a middle-class kid from New York suburbs. I had no experience with even this sort of discussion, frankly, but it was fascinating. So I watched, and they really were elegant and respectful about it. And I kind of put it in my hip pocket. I said, maybe someday that'll be a story. Well, I had always loved Anton's work, and then when I saw him in Like Crazy, his wonderful movie with Felicity Jones, I said, there may be 7 billion people on the earth, but that's the best person for this part. And I called the producers from the car on the way home and said, is there any way we can approach him? And they said, let us work on it. And sooner rather than later, we had a lovely dinner, and he said yes. And in Berenice's case, it's a very short list of people on the planet who can play this part. I mean, she has to be, forgive me, she has to be beautiful. She has to, I don't know why you would forgive me for that.
That is
But what I mean is, no, I just mean, forgive me for speaking of you in the third person. But so forgive me for that. She has to be beautiful. She has to be warm. She has to be authentically French. It would be awful if she weren't authentically French. She has to be funny, and Berenice is deeply, deeply funny. And she has to be loving in a way that, not everyone on earth is. So that's a lot of things to ask of one person, She is really the one who's responsible for, showing rather than telling the audience how much she feels for him. He gets to talk to them in voiceover and such, but she doesn't. So she's got to make it, she has to do it all with her hands and her face and her, eyes. And so when Berenice said yes, we had lunch in Santa Monica with Bonnie Curtis and Julie Lynn, the producers. We were all set, and we were thrilled, except I got lost driving her home. So that was the only bad thing that happened.
I first just loved the dialogues. They were so cleverly and it was so good. And I love that it was about relationships, real characters. I love the sense of humor. I love the topic, love, and all the questions that goes with love. Could there be other ways to love? And I love movies that have the audience question things, rethink things, and the story was so beautiful and moving and funny and unconventional. So I really love that.
So Anton.
I like to think of things in an open way. I don't like to say that I know how people should live their lives. So if I ever encountered something like this, even if I hadn't done the film, I probably would have been pretty accepting of it. But like Berenice said, I think it's important. Actually, I don't know if Berenice said this just now, but I've definitely heard her say it today. I'm sorry. It's very important to allow yourself to view something like love, especially from a critical perspective, where you allow people to love how they want to love, and you question what love is, that it's not just one thing. I think that's because of the complexity of the subject, it's very important to treat it that way. It's important to give it the respect of allowing it to be that complex. And I found that very, I find that very moving, because it's a profound thing. How do we love? What are the rules? I wish I knew them.
What did I like about my character? That she's very alive. She has this appetite for life, and the fact that she's brave enough to question convention and go towards what is important for her. Love, for instance, real love, and that she's brave enough to experience that without being trapped maybe in social, what you have to do, what is good or bad. Because sometimes in life things are important, and what is important to you, as long as you don't hurt anyone, you have to follow it, and then you don't have regrets, and you follow your own instinct and your own truth. And I love and respect that in people.
Well, for me, when I read it, I don't know if this is about him or rather the journey that he goes on, but I found this idea that you start in one place, and then shortly thereafter you're in a different place. And then by the end of the film, this character has to contend with something that I think is really profound, which is that things can be short-lived and still be very meaningful. And how do we accept that they don't last forever? And I found that really, really moving when I read the screenplay, and that's what I love the most about him, that he goes on this journey, and that the world takes him in this way. I found that really exciting, and I think it's also a really interesting character arc to mine.
Well, I want them to enjoy themselves. That's the most important thing. I want them to enjoy their hour and a half. But if I can presume to ask for a little extra, I would like them to be moved. I'd like them to think about what it is in their own life that they wonder about, not necessarily regret, but at least wonder about. And I'd like them to, if I can even be more greedy than that, argue in the taxi on the way home about whether or not who was right and who was wrong. So, and I want them to laugh, So enjoy, and if possible, be moved, and if even more possible, think about something that you might not have.